Are you nervous about your upcoming mortgage renewal? Hey, it's Karri, Flatla here, Alberta mortgage broker in Lethbridge. So, Mortgage Professionals Canada just released their semi-annual State of the Housing Market report for 2023 year end, and there are some concerning trends that came from consumer sentiment in this survey, and I want to talk about that because it really gives some insight into sentiment around upcoming mortgage renewals. And then I want to talk about the fact that you have choices and what those choices are and what you can do going forward, because a whole bunch of you are coming up for renewal and you need to know. 2/3 of mortgage holders said that they are anxious about their renewal. 2/3. And 23% say that even a small increase in the interest rate will cause them to have trouble making payments. Yikes. Now, despite that, 44% of respondents said that they accepted the initial rate offered by their lender when they got offered the renewal. 44%, almost half, accepted the initial rate offered. No questions asked, sign, done. That's crazy. But it's understandable because I think a lot of folks don't really understand that they have choices. They haven't been informed what they can and can't do. And I think there's this idea that if the big bank sends me a renewal offer, and sometimes it's just a renewal through the online banking screen. So the thought is, the big bank sends me a renewal, I have to sign it. They're like the government or something, or the FBI. I don't know. It's weird. But you actually have choices, and you can actually go back to your lender and say, hey, this is what I was offered in my renewal letter. We still got time, because you usually get those letters 6 months, even 9 months before term maturity. Can you guys do any better? I've made all my mortgage payments on time. I mean, ask the question. What if it gets you a better rate? But number 2, call a mortgage broker and see what your options are. You know, mortgages aren't like shopping at Costco where they only sell one brand of coffee maker and one type of coffee maker, and that's what you get to buy if you go to Costco, right? Well, if you only listen to one lender and what they have to offer you, you're only accessing a very, very tiny piece of the market. So talk to a mortgage broker who has access to multiple lenders and products, but also a skilled mortgage broker will be willing to take a fully underwritten application from you and evaluate your finances and then inform you on what your options are. And here's the thing, it's not just about the rate. The rate's important, but it's not about just rate, or can I get a little tiny sliver lower of a rate over here versus over here. Don't get caught up in that. It's not just about the rate. So if you call your lender or mortgage broker a year from now and you have a question or you have a problem with your mortgage, are you going to get bounced around to 10 different people? Do you have to retell your life story every single time you call or walk into the branch? Or, do they know who you are? So it's also about the service, because this is the biggest financial transaction of your life. Most people, their mortgage payment is their biggest financial obligation every month, right? So how are you managing that? And don't you deserve to have answers on a consistent basis? Maybe even a relationship with the person who's helping you manage that multi-$100,000 mortgage, which affects you, your family, your finances, and your future. And then the other thing is, maybe you don't want to renew into the same type of mortgage product, or maybe you want to change your mortgage or do a refinance. Take cash out for a renovation, pay for the kids' education. If you have equity, then you have options. And we know that in Alberta, where house prices have increased an average of 10% a year for the last at least couple of years, if not more, and maybe even more than that, depending on the market you're in, Albertans' home equity is increasing. So you might have more options than you think. It might be time to re-amortize simply to mitigate the big jump in mortgage payment because of much higher interest rates than what you got, 3 to 5 years ago. So ultimately, whatever you signed into 3 to 5 years ago when you got that mortgage, what was good for you yesterday might not be good for you and your family today. And you deserve to understand what your options and your choices are. And frankly, a lot of people are finding that a refinance is a good opportunity to clean up their debt, to clean up their finances, and start fresh. And you might have the ability to do that, but you can't really know until you get the advice that you need about your finances. So a lot of people are nervous, a lot of people are concerned, rightfully so. People were getting mortgages for 2% or less interest not that many years ago, right? Now they're closer to 5% or more. Are they coming down? Yes, we think mortgages will come down on a sort of slow and bumpy ride over the next year or two. But sitting and waiting is never the right thing to do when it comes to your finances. It's just has too big of an impact on your life and your future. You need to get good information. So if you have any questions about your renewal, call or text 403-382-7335. That is my direct number, or you can look me up at karriflatla.com. Remember to like or subscribe to my channels, and we will see you for the next one. Take care.